This is 007 First Light on the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme. Charger plugged in, turbo mode on, everything looks fine. 9 minutes in, the charger decouples, you're on battery now. The device switches to 25 watt turbo to protect itself. GPU clocks drop from 2100 constant to 1800 MHz mid-session. Most people see turbo icon and think everything is fine. They have no idea they're burning battery running at reduced clocks, wondering why the game suddenly feels a bit worse. This is what happens when you play 007 on default turbo settings, and today I'm gonna show you exactly why it happens and how to fix it. Welcome back to Orkas Gaming Tech, where we find the real story behind handheld performance so you don't have to. 007 First Light just dropped, and the first question every Ally owner is asking: is this actually playable on a handheld, or is it a console only experience? Quick honest note before we get into it, I'm still learning the camera side of things, so the footage here doesn't fully do the game justice. On the actual screen in the hand, it looks significantly better. What we are here for is the performance story, and the data is solid. But first, there's something IO quietly didn't give AMD users. And you need to know this before you touch the settings. If you've been looking for frame generation settings and you can't find it, you're not missing anything. It doesn't exist for you. IO Interactive built this game with DLSS frame generation only, up to 6x on the RTX 50 series cards. FSR frame generation not implemented, even though FSR 3 technically supports it. XeSS frame generation also absent. And to make things worse, the upscalers are hard-coded, and DLSS swap via OptiScaler will also not work. This game launched as part of the RTX 50 series bundle. That tells you everything about what the developers were optimizing for. Every AMD handheld, your Z1 Extreme, the Steam Deck, and even the brand new Xbox Ally X gets zero frame generation. We are working without the safety net here. So when you're chasing performance on this device, you're doing it the honest way, every frame earned. Now let's talk about what default settings actually does to this device. I loaded up the training area, default turbo, no charges. Within the first few seconds, it reached 49 watts. GPU at 89 degrees, 95% load. CPU at 95 degrees. The worst thing, the 1% lows goes crazy on the Steam frame time graph. That's not a number, that's the device actually screaming. The average FPS is in the 50s, but the frame times are all over the place. It doesn't feel like mid 50s. And here's the thing about ASUS's default fan curves, even in turbo mode, remember they are tuned for silence and not performance. After sustained play, charger will decouple. You're on battery now. The device drops to 25 watts turbo to protect itself. GPU clocks fall from 2100 MHz to around 1800 MHz. You didn't change anything, the game just got worse, and most people have no idea why. And at 900p, it's even more brutal. I recorded 40 plus watts sustained for around 48 seconds in the training area before the device had to back off, CPU hitting its absolute thermal ceiling. This is what out-of-the-box experience looks like on a demanding new game, and it's completely fixable. So step 1 setting, turn off CPU boost. The Z1 Extreme CPU will chase its boost clock aggressively and eat into the TDP budget that your GPU needs. It also pushes temps straight to thermal ceiling on demanding titles like this one. Kill the boost and watch what happens. CPU max drops from 95 to 82 degrees most of the time. The charger stops decoupling. The device stops panicking. That's it. One change. If you do nothing else from this video, do this. Your Ally will thank you. But if you want a full console experience, there's a step 2. Step 2, custom fan curves and a 40 FPS cap using RTSS. The fan curve change is simple. Spin it aggressively early enough, before temps have a chance to climb. Proactive cooling instead of reactive cooling. Yes, the fans get louder, but it's nowhere near as loud as any gaming laptop. and the device stays in control of the thermals instead of chasing them. Then cap 40 FPS in RTSS like how I've shown in the screen. I know what you're thinking, 40 FPS sounds like a compromise. Well, it isn't, and the data is about to prove that. So here's what the fixed setup actually looks like across the game. Indoors, mid to high 50s if you leave it uncapped, locked solid at 40 FPS cap, 30 watts thermally controlled. Outdoors, stealth section, same story, mid 50s stable, no drama. Combat, the GPU actually clocks higher when it needs to, up to 2500 MHz, pushing harder to hold the target. The 1% lows will touch in the 30s in the busiest moments. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but it recovers fast and it's playable. Car scene, locked 40, device working harder at 41 watts, staying in check. And then the hotel ballroom, packed with NPCs, complex lighting, most cinematic scene in the game, and 68 degrees, mid 60 degrees, and decent wattage. Remember, default settings had this device at around 49 watts and 95 degrees. Same game, different approach. That's the fix. Not just a stable frame rate, a device that is in control of itself. Now let's talk about what 40 FPS actually means on this screen. Your PS5 in quality mode targets 30 to 40 FPS on a big TV. That's the console experience people compare handhelds to. You're doing the same thing in your hand on the go on hardware from 2023 with no frame generation, no special treatment from the developer, working entirely without the tools NVIDIA users got. Bond at a gala, mid 60 degrees, locked 40 FPS mode. That's not a compromise, that's a result. So, is 007 First Light playable on the original ROG Ally Z1 Extreme? Yes, but you have to earn it. Out of the box, this game will overheat your device, decouple your charger, and give you a degraded experience mid-session. That's the honest reality. CPU boost off stops the critical problem. Custom fans and 40 FPS cap turns it into something you can actually sit with for hours. One more thing, path tracing is coming in the summer 2026 update. When that drops, we are revisiting this on the laptops. That'll be a very different conversation. For now, fixed settings, this game feels playable and it feels better than it has any right to on this level of hardware. Settings card is on the screen and in the description. If you're running different settings, drop them in the comments. I want to see what you've found. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Afternoon. Invitation, please. Blake and Loretta York. Plus that. Welcome to the Grand Carpathian.